You may have noticed that a lot of the music that I do on my channel features the guest work of my friend Alex Fisher, who is a multi-instrumentalist who plays a variety of saxophones and clarinets, and he always does a really great job. And I had noticed when I was doing these videos that every time I send him a song, it's always, I've made these backings, I send it to him, he does a solo. And so I thought, wouldn't it be funny if we did the inverse of that, where he sends me a solo, and then I have to create the backings for that? And so to make it a bit of a challenge, I asked him specifically to only follow a metronome, don't have a chord sequence, don't follow any key, and if anything, try and change keys a bit to make it difficult for me and make it a challenge. And if you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, haven't I seen a video a little like this? A video also done by someone named Ben? Well, what are you gonna do? Tell on me? So when I pitched this idea to Alex, he pretty enthusiastically agreed. And let's listen to a solo. So that's a pretty interesting solo. And one of the first things I did to make this a lot easier for myself was transcribe it. Now I'd like to take a moment in this video just to remind you that if you're enjoying what you're watching, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Alex Fisher is amazingly talented, so I'm gonna put his Instagram on the screen. I'm gonna put my Instagram as well. Also, I have an album out on Bandcamp. YouTube doesn't pay me anything for making these videos, and I make quite a lot of them, so if you're able to pitch me some money, that would be amazing. Or, if you're not gonna buy the album, comment below that you're not going to buy the album to drive up my YouTube analytics. Anyway, back to the video. So the dominant thing that I was thinking about when I was writing the chords for this is I want there to be structure. So in the first two bars, I start out with an A flat major 7 sharp 5 to give kind of an augmented sound, a bit of dissonance, to start off with the sound of treble. We have a rising bass line of A flat to A to B flat to B, so that we have that sense of escalating tension that just drives the solo along and makes it feel like we're getting off to a fast start. Then we have a bit of wandering around in bar 3 that leads to a tritone substituted 2-5-1. Normally it would be G minor, F sharp 7, F major 7, but then we turn the F major 7 into a B major 7, which is the tritone away. This is then followed up by E major 7, which is also in the same key. Bar 5 was kind of difficult. You can see that I've put the F7 in a question mark, so we're still moving in that circle of fourths pattern. The E flat to C minor is of course the relative minor. It feels like we're all in the E flat major key. What I'm really trying to set up is the C over D flat major 7 in bar 7. One of the things that's very important to consider with this kind of harmonizing is what note is the melody relative to the chord. It's something that I learned from Rick Beato, which is that the key to making a melody interesting is to make sure that what the note is relative to the chord, so whether it's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh of the scale, changes, because that creates interest and it doesn't just feel like, oh, he's always playing the fifth of the chord. So then we're into bar 7, and this is one where really the main chord stays the same, it's just that the bass note moves up one semitone. And you see this a lot in songs because it takes a happy chord and then makes it suddenly sad. I think I heard this originally in Most of What I Like by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And it's very good to just make everything seem a little whimsical, melancholy, but not too sad because you're starting on a happy chord. And you can also note that we're going from a C, which is the 7th of D flat, major 7, to D, which is the root of D minor 7 flat 5. And this is another trick, is to start on the major of a chord, so A flat major, and then go to the minor of the chord. You can see that at the beginning of bar 8, that A flat major it's ambiguous. You're only hearing the root and the 5th, so it could be major or minor, and it's confirmed to be minor when the beat comes in. Bar 9 is really actually the end of where he plays chromatic. Once he goes from 10 on, it's actually a lot more diatonic. He's not really switching keys as much. And you can also notice that the harmonic rhythm changes. If you look back to bar 5, we're changing the chord every beat of the bar. Meanwhile, in bar 7, we have the chord changing only twice, every minute. And from this point on, the harmonic rhythm really slows down. In bar 11, the chord doesn't change at all. Essentially, in bar 10 to 11, there's really only the D7. The C major chord is kind of just a passing chord that links the G7 to the D7. In bar 12, we use the A diminished 7, and I really wanted to use that because it provides a bit of variety, but you're also still in D7. You've really just flatted the 9, which we already had the flat 9 in bar 11. Bar 13, the C7 is where I was trying to make a conscious shift away from what the notes just told me. Because if you look at the notes, it's spelling out the F major 9 chord, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it in this circle of fourths dominant 7 sound, so instead I just put the C7 in there, which is still in the key of F, but doesn't just have the blind, oh, I saw an F, so now it's F major. We finally end off with a 2-5-1 in the key of C. Also, an important thing to note about the process of doing this was that even while I was transcribing the solo, I had already harmonically sketched out in Logic through markers a series of chords, and I had also been using basic MIDI patches just to give a little sound of what that might be. Well, now that we have the solo, we've transcribed it, we've worked out what harmony we want to give it, and we've even given it a small MIDI sketch. Let's add some overdubs and listen to the final product.